Hello, this is Terry Doran, welcoming you to Theater for Ideas. Today's episode, Why Americans Love War, with my great friend Martin Walker from Cincinnati, Ohio. George W. Bush is the ultimate extension and logical result of American values that make a system that worships status at all costs, even at the expense of our own self-preservation. What brings status? Money, achieved by any means necessary, which buys influence and public opinion, all of which adds up to power, and those with power have contempt for those who don't. So again, welcome to Theater for Ideas with my great friend Martin Walker.
And it's just like with this war. They always prefaced their defending Corpus Christi as a play to be produced and respected, not because they were against Christianity.
Oh no, they'd scramble. All the defenders of the play would say, well, I'm not against Christianity.
I'm here to say right now that I am. The reason I would put a play on like that is because I am against Christianity. I think Christianity, for all, it's worn out. Look, I mean, everything is unknown in this existence, and so we better get used to it. To try apply meaning to life through this insane fucking Christian system, it leads to disaster. It's evil. Look at everything that it has no value. I mean, Christianity can defend everything from genocide to pacifism. If a system can defend the opposite of any position, it has no value. There is no value in it. Absolutely no value. I think it's I respect the tremendous cultural impact it's made, its history. Europe's smeared with all the churches that they put up to try to find meaning in life and to be moral and that kind of thing, but come on, I mean, all they are archaeological, historical relics now. That Christianity, as far as I can tell, here's the problem with it. This nonsense of an afterlife, and this nonsense of if you donate money to it, that somehow you're buying eternity. That right there is a definition of insanity. If you believe in an afterlife because the Bible tells you so, and there's no evidence for it, and you also believe that if you work really hard, oppress other human beings, and get an income, and the more money you give to the church, which means, of course, the more people you have to go out and oppress and brutalize, that the better chance you have of an eternal existence. How is that any different than the most base, barbaric tribes of pre-dawn man? I mean, I don't get it. Somebody explain to me something different, and then maybe I'll listen. Maybe I'll become a Christian. I don't know.
Yeah, Mark Sauter was so against that play that he has no problem sending these young men and women over to Iraq to kill other men and women and to be killed themselves.
It's all terror. The guy operates off of terror and the need to get laid. That's what drives him. That's what drives every American. Terror of what? Terror of not having status. You need that status for everything. I mean, a woman or a man's not going to be attracted to a bum in the street. You got to have status. You've got to have done something, whether it's left wing, right wing, centrist, doesn't matter. You have to have done something to get your status, and you get your status. You have to get your status so you can have sex. It's just that simple. The more status you have, the more sex you can have. This is the most insane. Look, turn on that TV and look at all the sex on there. I mean,
status breeds
yeah.
confidence.
Yeah.
Confidence breeds desire. And females are attracted to confident men.
Sex is a wonderful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's one of the greatest. It can be one of the greatest gifts, but it's perverted and meaningless in this society. Completely meaningless. And I'm not. I mean, I don't believe in, monogamy, whatever. Multiple partners doesn't matter to me. I'm just saying that in this society, it practically is. It's exploited. It's worthless. It has no value. It's just like everything else here. What it is it's become just a distraction, like sports and all this other nonsense. It's just a distraction. People have sex to escape the horror of existence. Consequence, another human being who can also participate in the horror of existence. The population is swelling, making existence more horrible. So people fuck to drown out the horror. Consequence, more human beings. Until you reach some critical mass of horror, which maybe we're reaching, I don't know. Certainly we have in some of these third world countries, not enough to feed them. America just rides roughshod, lazily, brutally and lethargically along over the whole world. And this voluptuary lifestyle.
And particularly fear of indigenous people whose lifestyle is based on character, principle, caring for each other. That is a great threat to American capitalism, because American capitalism is the exact opposite. It's brutalizing each other.
I mean, the human condition is one of just complete contradiction. You're a walking mass Freud talks about this, all of them talk about this, even Marx. You're just a walking mass of contradiction. To pretend that it's not leads to all this fucking war, destruction. That's my point. I don't know if there's any solution to the walking contradiction. I think there's certainly better ways of going about it than just denying it, which is America's entire core of its ethic is based on denying that there's anything wrong with being human. And I say, being human's about the worst thing there is, and so let's do something about it.
And we should say, we are born and bred in America. I told you a little bit of my life, teacher, creator, programs, documentaries, discussions, so as soon as somebody says, well, they're left-wingers, they're members of a communist party, they're this, they're that, I'm a member of no party, I don't like Democrats anymore, I like Republicans, so I want to make that clear. I don't think there's any difference. I don't think there's any difference between liberal and conservative when you get right down to it. I don't think there's any difference between left and right. Yes, there seems to be, but in the end, what is different is what's in your heart and your thirst, your longing for justice, your willingness to stand up for it. And of course, that's a slippery thing, because what's justice to me is not justice to somebody else, and people who are for this war will say this is what justice is going and taking out this evil dictator. Well, in closing, let's just say that this evil dictator, Saddam Hussein, this evil dictator, Osama bin Laden, who propped them up, paid for them, bought them, United States of America. Am I making this up? No, it's a fact. Look it up. Look it up. Did America care about Saddam Hussein brutalizing his people back in the 80s when he served America a purpose? No. So why do they care now? See, we don't dare ask these questions. We don't dare ask these questions. And why does America care if he has weapons of mass destruction? How many countries on this earth have weapons of mass destruction? America's great friend Israel has many weapons of mass destruction. North Korea has just said, we've got them and we'll use them against you. Back off. And who has the most in all the world? Oh, let's see. Would it be France? Would it be Germany? Would it be Russia? Oh, I believe it's the United States of America. I bet they have more weapons of mass destruction in this country than all the other countries put together. Oh, and they're always talking about how terrible chemical warfare is. Well, who poisoned the water supply of Iraq between the last 12 years? Look that up. United States. You know, who wants to live in a country and believe this about your own country? Martin and I are so alienated. We don't want to live this way. I'd like to believe in this war, and I'd like to believe that it's bringing justice. I'd be far happier. I mean, but I can't. I just can't. It's not right. It's like Vietnam. As a teacher, I knew that was a wad of lies, and the difference then is now, of course, I was going to say I'm too old, but hell, if you're going to declare war on everybody in the world, I guess you'll round up every American. My 3-year-old daughter, I'm 61 years old, and get us all out there to fight. That's what I just wrote an editorial. Fort Wayne has kids in Fort Wayne Community Schools, record number of homeless students, Fort Wayne Community Schools. Anybody get upset? Nope. Got to spend this $75 billion on the war, and that's just a down payment. I had to lay off 100 teachers, Fort Wayne Community Schools. Well, I say, why lay off 100? Lay them all off. Get rid of education. Get rid of schools. Turn them all into army camps, army bases. Every American a soldier, except, of course, rich Americans. They will be exempt. And your actors and your athletes, so they can provide entertainment to the rich. And what are soldiers providing? Entertainment. This war's covered like a big entertainment spectacle, an NCAA bonus round. It is the ultimate reality TV show where you get to see real human beings killing other real human beings.
Oh, spectacle.
A spectacle. I mean, I'm so upset I can hardly function.
And then the great.
I stood up against that Vietnam.
The wise capitalists say, quit feeling sorry for yourself. I would say this: the feeling sorry for yourself is about the only honest thing you can do in this country. Of course, you should feel sorry for yourself because you're in a sorrowful state. We're all in sorrowful states. This phrase, quit feeling sorry for yourself, is just a way of another tool of denial to the truth. I think it's horrible. I feel terrible about myself. Because I exist everywhere around me. It's insane. I'm depressed. It's horrible. Of course I should be depressed. I'm not having any chemical imbalance. I'm reacting logically and reasonably and in an emotionally healthy way to the horror that's around me. I'm going to feel sorry for myself and at least take pride in that.
Well, you can take pride in the fact that America has come up with a pretty original idea, to liberate the people, kill them all. That'll liberate them. Yeah. That started brilliantly with Bill Clinton in Waco. Oh, those kids are being abused. Of course, no evidence. Later it was proven, no evidence of abuse, zero evidence of abuse. He's reading the same Bible as a Christian. He's a Christian. He's using the same Bible. Oh, but he's evil. David Koresh is evil. So what do? Go and kill all those poor kids. And what are they? Are they Iraqis? No, they're American children.
Oh, it doesn't
American
matter.
Children. Doesn't matter. And
innocence is the worst crime you can commit in these United States. The biggest mistake you can make in America is acting on kindness. Just the way the system's set up, you'll be abused, exploited, alienated, called names, left in solitary confinement among your own people. The worst war ever.
And words are so powerful. I mean, looking at this war, it's called Operation Iraqi Freedom. It gives it a noble name every time you see it on TV. That's burned into your brain. It's called the Coalition, not United States.
Invaders.
Not the invaders, the Coalition. Going to liberate. Going to liberate the people of Vietnam. Yeah. Going to liberate the people of Iraq. And words. George W. Bush ran on a campaign, leave no child behind, and he would pose with his arm around little black kids in ghetto schools.
Yeah.
And then cuts all funds for after-school programs, Head Start programs. He goes to a hospital. He looks those people right in the eye and says, "You're the soldiers of compassion on the front line. Yes, I will support you. You have my word." Then he cuts all that funding. You see, it's George should have been awarded the Academy Award for Best Actor. I think he's a lousy actor, but he has convinced millions of people to thinking what he says is true.
And how does he go to sleep at night and sleep well? Because he's got Christianity on his side.
Because he thinks God has told him to do it. He's convinced himself God has told him to do this. But does God tell him, clean up the environment, quit abusing it, get all your, I love justice, get all your people health insurance, get them all jobs, get them all living wages? No, God doesn't seem to say that.
God's not a socialist. America leads to the disruption of all relationships between human beings. Doesn't matter if it's your lover, your husband, wife, child, mother, father. It's these divisions of there's this disconnectedness and really hatred of your fellow man, out of frustration, loneliness, despair. These are the hallmarks of our system. They drive people to incredible acts of devotion and slavery to nonsense for the increase in capital and jobs and that sort of thing. Unfortunately, it's led to just mindless destruction from top to bottom, insanity. Yeah, it makes no sense to me. There's I'm as alone on the left wing as I am on the right wing. You can't trust anybody. No one can be trusted. It's not their fault. It's just exploitation is baked into their brains. It hardwired in their nerve cells. They can't help it. I don't care how kind you try to be at a peace rally. I'm going right to the core of it now. Political left and right's nonsense. And until you go to the core of it, then nothing's going to get better. I mean, you can take a guy who's the head of the peace movement right now, give him power and leadership, and he'll become a George Bush. I'm convinced of it. Won't matter. Or she. Women's rights can't exist in a country that gives rights to no one. All you're doing is reshuffling the deck when you put women and minorities in positions of power. It's the same thing. It's power and domination, submission. There isn't any. The wealth is becoming less and less available to the middle class and certainly the poor, and more available to the super wealthy. Super wealthy happens to have a few more women and a few more minorities in it. That's it. The rest of it's all horror, terrible, terrible despair, loneliness, longing, unhappiness, divorce, violence, rage, hate, insomnia, nightmares, homicide, suicide, drug addiction, corruption, and bloated prison populations. America's the worst, absolute worst. And it all boils down to just a complete inability to understand ourselves, or even if it's impossible to understand ourselves, at least we should try. And nobody tries. They do everything they possibly can to avoid any kind of objective assessment. The best thing America is at is fucking and destruction. That's our, and of course, if you get right down to it, those two are the same thing. Fucking is, I mean, let's be honest. George Bush is out there dropping these bombs and all this stuff just to impress his wife, I'd imagine. I mean, when it gets right down to it, or at least maybe he's got something else going on. I mean, there's no such love can't exist in this country. You can't. The minute you respect another human being, they're going to exploit you. The minute someone respects you, you will exploit them. Respect is a one-way street, and its reward is misery. The reward you get for respecting another human being is to be exploited, used, abused, drained of all resources, crushed, and then you think, well, I'll turn the other cheek. That's a big mistake. It'll just get worse for you. Just like Dylan says, if you think you've lost everything, you can always lose just a little more. And it gets down to sex. I mean, let's face it, it's the most insane urge. 24-hour a day makes everyone insane. There's no escaping it. There's no rationale for it. It could be dealt with in a beautiful, romantic, monogamous way, but not in this country, not in this work ethic, not in this society. It'll never work in this society. Sex is a curse, just like everything else here. Sex and love, it can't exist in this system. Hell, in a healthy way. It's doomed. I don't care if you're a therapist or a sexologist or whatever the hell else. Everybody's cooked up to try to deal with this. The fact is, you exist in this system, and it's a losing battle. Blowing a bomb up, grabbing a gun, stroking the barrel of a gun. These soldiers, it's the same as fucking. These soldiers join up the army. I'm talking on an unconscious level. Not, I think ultimately because they're thrilled with the thrill of the chance of killing another human being, which must be tantamount to an orgasm. I mean, it must be. Otherwise, why would anybody in their right mind join up with the army? Who would do that? Unless on some unconscious level, there's some just titillating, irrepressible attraction to it, delight. The joy of holding a weapon in your hand that can take another human being's life, that's right up there with the joy you have of another human being craving you sexually. I don't see, it's that kind of power and submission. And until we start, I don't ever claim to have the answers, but I guarantee you, until we start heading into this type of discussion, I mean, it's Armageddon. It's just, I mean, this is the reason, if you don't look at these sorts of things, this is why Americans vote for people that abuse them the most. Those are the few that vote. Most of them are just resigned to just such a state of hopelessness. Then the so-called democracy, they understand they're going to get it no matter what happens, so why vote? They're just in black despair, super low self-esteem, self-hatred, self-loathing. They're going to do anything it takes to get more abuse heaped upon them. They hate themselves. They hate life. They hate all other life. They love big tractors and earth movers and things that destroy rainforests and explosions and death and destruction and misery and mayhem and mindless fucking. I mean, just unbelievable. That's still going? Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I look back on my own life and I don't know what I really don't know what makes other people function. I feel like a complete alien. I don't understand other human beings. I don't know what makes them want to go out and get drunk and have sex for one night and never see another person again. What makes them want to do everything in their power to have a fancy car or to have any kind of a house with so many rooms you can't even, all you need is one room, one or two rooms. I don't get it. I must be, maybe I am insane, I don't know. And of course, survival of the natural selection is going to put an end to my genes because I ain't reproducing. I'm finished. I want nothing to do with it. I don't want nothing to do with the human race. It's pathetic. It's sad. Every time you try to have, I don't care. As they say, if you try to have some kind of real interaction with another human being, it's doomed. It's just doomed. You have to. I've found that the only strategy next to suicide for getting away from the pain is just isolation. Just isolation. If you want to keep any semblance of dignity, because in America they won't allow you to have any dignity, none whatsoever. I'm going to break you down 1,000%. And as we've said before, the mastery here is all this oppression and suffering is in the guise of freedom and democracy and all this other nonsense ideology that everybody clings to and will go to war for, not because it's true, because they want to pretend that it's true, because their whole existence depends on this gigantic lie. Just a gigantic lie. And defending a gigantic lie will make you far more violent than defending the truth. This is the worst horror ever conceived. I don't see how the great creator could have made it more horrible. It's masterfully, ingeniously horrid. I mean, everything you do to seek relief is nothing but treachery just around the corner. You try to find a soft, sexy woman who gives you all these compliments, and it's not long before she's wretched. It's not her fault. And vice versa. A woman tries to find some strong, independent, loving man. It's not long before she's totally disillusioned. This is horror beyond time. Nobody can get along with anybody. There's too much everybody's a stepping stone to try to get to something higher. It's impossible to respect another human being. Because glitz, status, and money are God. That's God. Hell, they got God all over the money. The word God. This is the worst horror ever conceived. Just obsessed with antidepressants and anxiety. Did it ever occur that maybe our depression and anxiety is a simple natural reaction to the horrible environment around us? And why not go about changing the environment to make people happier than to give them some kind of mind-altering drug that these drug companies are so billion-dollarly dependent on?
Dedicate this program and the entire series to the memory of my brother Rick and to the future of my daughter Cayman. With love.
No. Mommy. Daddy. Dr. Wynn. Mommy. Daddy. Now you try it.
All right.